Hello and welcome, Chef Pennington here. Today we are going to do some stuffed cabbage rolls. This is just a wonderful dish. It's very simple. We're going to use some good technique, and when we're done, we're going to have a delicious tender bite, and we're going to reinforce flavors all the way through. So we're using some great ingredients here. We're going to use some pork and some beef, which is cool. And instead of just rice, we're adding some quinoa, which is extra protein. It's good stuff. It's a nice texture. I love it. If you don't like any of these ingredients, just simply don't use them, which is awesome. So we're going to start off with some beautiful cabbage. So what we want to do is get each piece off in the biggest piece possible because that's going to create the best wrapper for us. So all we have to do is take off the base. Don't cut too far in. That's going to be the key. And they're going to come off very easily for you. And we're going to take them off until the green starts becoming light color. Right about there is about as far as I would go. Okay. We need roughly 12 of them. I would suggest pull off at least an extra one or two in case they break in the process. So we're going to take some hot water and we're going to essentially cook these. We're going to get them really soft so that they're formable. So we're able to put our good stuff in our stuffing inside and then roll them up and make them look nice. That's what our goal is. So you want to season the water almost like pasta, not that much salt, but close. The ocean is roughly 0.6 as far as salinity goes. I asked my chef in culinary school, like, how much salt do we add for our pasta water? So a little less than that. And these are going to cook differently for everyone because what you're cooking them on is going to have different heat sources and how hot it's going to be. So I went for 5 minutes and I got in there and started looking at it. I wanted to see how well it was doing. And we do want it to be pretty limber. You'll see in the next check, when I check it, you'll see exactly how. See that piece right there? That's pretty fibrous. So our goal is really to soften that part. And you could cut it out if you want. I like it. It's extra fiber, it's texture, plus it's presentation. So probably right in between 10 and 15 minutes is where it's going to be done for you. So try not to hurry this process. It'll create a much more tender cabbage roll when it comes out of the oven. So you can see it's pretty limp like a dish rag, which is perfect. We got to shock it in some cold water. If you don't do that, it's going to continue to cook and it's going to get mushy. We don't want that. So have a bowl full of water and ice when you're done. And then that part's done. Easy peasy, super easy. So let's start making a delicious filling. Everything loves a little bit of onion, and we're going to use a food processor so we can make everything very homogeneous. We're going to bring everything together instead of having a chunky stuffing. We don't want that. So the mushrooms are meaty, right? A lot of vegetarians use them in place of beef, so it's just a really nice thing when you can add mushrooms and beef together. I actually have a burger I do like that in sous vide where I chop up the mushrooms and add it into the meat, and it's glorious. My mother really loved it. So some green onion. So we're going to reinforce these flavors. We're going to get them into the stuffing, and then we're going to actually cut some up. So this is Serrano. I like Serranos a lot. They've got a little more fruity flavor than jalapenos, but use a jalapeno if you want, and of course, just omit. I've got 80-20 here on the beef, which just adds a little bit of unctuousness, a little fattiness. And our sausage has a good bit of salt, so we're not really going to be adding a lot of salt to this, which is kind of cool. We're going to add a little bit of garlic salt, and that's about it. So this is coming together real nicely. You can see that's going to make, it's essentially a force meat. It's going to be really delicious. It's going to shape up very nicely, and the goal is really a nice presentation. So here's a little demo on cutting an onion. Notice that the angle of my knife changes as it goes around the shape of the onion. I'm not just cutting straight down. It's kind of like a half circle. So you want this part right here, we cut here, we want to get it really close so we're not making really big pieces of onion. And then after we go through it, we're going to cut through it again. Way to be safe with a knife is, you'll notice when I'm cutting, I'm trying to keep the knife touching the board at all times. It's just a really good tip. So we got a cup here. This is adding more texture. This is a reason for the onion, plus onion tastes delicious with meat, so we're winning on all accords here. So this is a nice green onion. This is going to give it a little bit of color. You know, when you cut into it, you'll be able to see it, which is cool. Tomatoes. How hard is a tomato to cut, everyone? I tell you what, they're tough. They're slippery. They're buggers. You want sharp knives. But see how I'm running it nice and long? That really helps cut that thick outside skin that just never wants to cut. And you'll notice my knife is touching the board at all times here. True rocking motion, safe knife skills. Oh, tomatoes, they're such a bugger to cut. So that's a nice bit of freshness. This is the fun part in our stuffing. We're going to be using a tomato sauce, so we're adding a little tomato in there. These are just reinforcing flavors. This is good stuff. This is how to balance. A little bit of garlic salt. It has a little bit of dried parsley in there. Any kind will work, of course. So let's make our sauce. I happen to use tomato sauce here, or tomato juice. I wanted to keep it clean, if you will. I wanted to control the ingredients. Using V8 is probably more popular. I like that option. I go for the low sodium personally when I go for V8 because there's a lot of sodium, and we just don't need that. So I ended up using the whole can. I was starting my recipe here and being very specific and precise, but at the end I used all of it. Little Worcestershire sauce. Beef and Worcestershire sauce, they're best friends. Get some really high quality chili powder. This is where we're gonna make the tomato sauce taste like something other than just tomato sauce. It's really a nice ingredient to add. Little chili flake. We have some of the serrano in the base. This is just another form of heat. They're balancing each other out. This is probably one of the best ingredients for this is a little bit of fennel seed. Fennel seed, how do you describe it? It is an anise flavor, but it's not like licorice. Totally different kind of thing going on here. You'll see it in a lot of sausages. So it's a good ingredient here. Little nutmeg, maybe a little surprising to see that there. Nutmeg is highly underused in my opinion. It's good stuff. So if you can use the fresh, please, it's way more floral. So we're gonna get a little bit into the base here. Y'all could add some garlic, some minced garlic in there too. That's a wonderful ingredient to, beef and garlic, they're friends too. So all these ingredients, they very much make sense together. So this is why we cooked the cabbage to where we did. So it's gonna be our friend when we fill it up. So before we start rolling, use your fingers and get it to the shape you want. I'd usually tell you don't overfill, and I kind of would say that here, but we really want as much as possible because it's about the filling. That's what we want. We're gonna do a double tuck, one on each side, and then we're gonna do it again. And that's the trick to getting it to stay together. And then roll it up on itself and then press it down. That little press right there helps finish shaping the inside. And you try to put them in all the same direction. It just looks nice. It's an easy thing to do. And then when you present it, it looks good. People are like, wow, it looks great. I can't wait to have one. We always eat with our eyes. So I forgot to put it in the filling. I totally made a mistake. I ended up wanting to still have it because that rice on the inside of me is really quite great. And I still think that is the better way. This worked out great though. I wasn't disappointed, but I do like that bit of rice on the inside because that is kind of like the thing about stuffed cabbage rolls in my opinion. So we don't have to go crazy with the sauce. We don't want it to swim in the sauce, but we want to get the sauce up to at least halfway on the cabbage rolls. So when it cooks in the oven, it's going to essentially be braising, getting soft and tender, all the flavors coming together. So we do want to start with it covered into the oven. It's going to take a while to cook. We don't want a crazy hot oven. That's the key. And it could be between 40 and 60 minutes. It's going to be on your personal preference and your doneness. You could pop a little bit of chopped up parsley on top to give it a nice little pop of color. My finished, I went with some more of the green onion because I like green onion. Plus, we already had some. I didn't have to buy any more of the parsley. And just sprinkle it on top, and you got that color. And we have a really delicious bite here. That's all I can say. Now, what would I do different here? Not much. I think I do like the V8 better than just the regular tomato sauce. I would throw that out there and talk about some good stuff, y'all. Please come join us on social media. We'd love to have y'all. Please subscribe. Hit the like button, please. And hit the bell so you know when we post some new content. And y'all have the best. Take care.